Facial recognition technology has been around for decades. However, in recent years, it has seen more widespread adoption. Why? Artificial intelligence. Advances in deep learning and faster systems for processing enormous amounts of data has helped the technology come closer to reaching its full potential. This has led to higher accuracy and faster processing times. Governments and private companies are taking notice. The global market for facial recognition is expected to reach $12.92 billion by 2027. And it is not just for safety and security. Just to name a few, facial recognition software is starting to appear in retail, transportation, the hospitality industry, and the banking industry. But what is facial recognition technology? Facial recognition is a biometric tool. As with other commonly used biometric technologies like fingerprint recognition, iris recognition, and finger vein pattern recognition, facial recognition identifies a person based on specific aspects of their physiology. Though the software can vary, the process of facial recognition tends to follow three basic steps. First, your face is captured with a photo or video. It doesn't matter if you're alone or in a crowd. It can happen in real time. The software then measures a variety of facial features called landmarks or nodal points on the face. These could include the distance between the eyes, the width of the nose, depth of eye sockets, distance from forehead to chin. Each program uses different nodal points and may collect up to 80 different measurements. This information is then converted into a mathematical formula which represents your unique facial signature. That facial signature is then compared to a database of known faces. This can all happen in a matter of seconds. Facial recognition technology can be traced back to the 1960s. One early system developed by Woodrow Wilson Bledsoe classified photos by manually recording the coordinates of facial features, such as the nose and mouth, using an electronic stylus. When the system was given a photograph of an individual, it could retrieve the images that most closely resembled it from a database. In the 1990s, the U.S. Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency and the National Institute of Standards and Technology designed a face recognition program, which eventually led to more sophisticated automatic face recognition technology. One early version of this technology was tested at the 2002 Super Bowl, when law enforcement officials scanned the crowd and found several minor criminals, although that experiment also yielded a high number of false positives. However, the technology blossomed in the 2010s because of rapid developments in artificial intelligence. By 2014, face recognition systems were being regularly used by police to identify suspects in the field. However, since its inception, facial recognition has been polarizing. A significant use of facial recognition technology is in the area of safety and security. Law enforcement agencies use it to fight petty crime, help locate missing people, prevent terrorist attacks, and even uncover local criminals. Security checkpoints at airports worldwide are increasingly using such technology to protect flyers and to identify criminals trying to enter the country. The Department of Homeland Security also uses facial recognition to find people who have overstayed visas or who are under criminal investigation. Today, several companies are developing watch list as a service, using face recognition data platforms to help prevent shoplifting and violent crime. Facial recognition technology is getting faster and more accurate every year. This means that it could also soon be used to make our lives more convenient. Using your face print, business, hotels, and financial institutions will be able to seamlessly verify who you are without the use of a physical ID. There is even a bar that uses facial recognition to create better service for customers. There are vocal arguments against facial recognition technology, with the biggest being its threat to an individual's privacy. Some cities across the world are already working towards banning real-time facial recognition. Why? Your facial data can be collected and stored without your permission. According to a May 2018 report, at least 117 million Americans now have images of their faces in one or more police databases. There are also concerns regarding safety. Apps that allow individuals to use facial recognition software to identify someone they see on the street or at a bar already exist. Finally, the technology is still far from perfect, and there is evidence that many facial recognition algorithms produce far more false positives on non-white faces. It has also been demonstrated that it is not difficult to fool facial recognition systems. Researchers have already developed anti-facial recognition glasses, which make wearers undetectable. This has not stopped facial recognition from being widely adopted. Despite all this, the technology is increasingly used in mobile devices and consumer products as a way to authenticate users. College classrooms and testing facilities are using it to take attendance and prevent cheating. Retailers are using it to stop theft and to identify customers in need of assistance. And some automotive manufacturers are developing ways to use the technology in place of car keys. In the future, facial recognition could also be used to target products to specific groups by gender or age, to offer a personalized experience to restaurant customers, or to boost patient care at hospitals and clinics.
All right, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Sancho is back. Sancho is back. Big shout out to everybody in the chat. I miss everybody. Facial recognition, 360 perspective. El Sancho presents. If you haven't noticed in the chat, there's a lot of stats being thrown your way about facial recognition. Let me give a big shout out to everybody in the chat. Southern H, hello. Anon, Warren, hello. Randy, hello. Thank you for the membership again, Randy. Really appreciate it. Thank you for everybody for hanging on with your memberships. I haven't been live as much as I'm used to, and I apologize for that. Just been working on some personal stuff, and here I am. Sancho is back. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you for everybody for sharing this link on Discord. Thank you for everybody for Truth Teller. Hello. Jen Wow. Hello. And Richard, how are you? Southern H, I said hello to you, I think, already. Welcome to El Sancho Live. We are here to discuss facial recognition. For those who don't know in the chat who just got here, we are doing a live poll to get your opinion on facial recognition software. Vote. Make sure it's one sentence. When it comes to use exclamation point vote, then it's either dangerous or safe. So those are how to vote. Dangerous or safe. We want to get your opinion on what you think about facial recognition. I mean, I'll be honest with you. When facial recognition first came out, I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. You can use your phone and switch your face and have a dog face and all this cool stuff. And then you realize and understand once you start researching and thinking about facial recognition, it starts to really not seem like it should seem. I mean, other countries have adapted it full swing. Us in the United States, we are slowly adapting towards facial recognition. And I want to give you guys a 360 perspective on whether or not that is a good or that is a bad idea. So we are going to, we just showed a lot of the benefits of facial recognition. So it's time to go over a couple of the negatives of facial recognition.
But we begin with a 7 Action News investigation that is raising new concerns about the Detroit Police Department's controversial use of facial recognition. Good evening to you. I'm Dave Llewellyn.
And I'm Glenda Lewis. Tonight, you'll hear the story of one man who was wrongfully arrested due in part to that technology. His story is raising new questions about whether the program is putting innocent men and women in police custody.
7 investigator Ross Jones is looking into what went wrong and city protocols that failed to stop it.
Michael Oliver is at least the second person DPD wrongly arrested due to a facial recognition misidentification. And now that mistake could end up costing taxpayers.
I didn't commit this crime, so why am I going through this?
Michael Oliver is the latest Detroiter to be wrongly arrested and this time charged due to a misidentification stemming from facial recognition technology.
And I met Mr. Oliver in person, and I saw it was clearly a different person.
Michael's attorney, Patrick Nineheis, says as soon as he met his client, he knew this was a wrongful arrest. One look at him and a still from a cell phone camera told him these were two different men.
I knew the whole time. I said, let's take this to trial. I'll just put a picture of Mr. Oliver up and a picture of the assailant, and the jury will easily see it's the wrong person.
I'm asking him, like, how was my face even brought up? And that's when he told me, like, your face, they put you in a lineup. The face recognition said it was you.
The saga began in May 2019 when a Detroit Public Schools community district teacher, Stephen Cassani, began filming a bunch of young people near the school. One reached into his car, grabbed his phone, and threw it. Stephen reported the cracked screen and broken case, damages of $150 to DPD. From there, a screenshot from that video was fed into the department's facial recognition technology system, DataWorks. An analyst and supervisor signed off on the report that Michael was a match. After the teacher picked Michael out of a 6-person photo lineup, a warrant request was signed the following day. Michael would eventually be charged with felony larceny.
The officer seemed to take shortcuts.
During the preliminary hearing, the detective in charge of the case, Donald Busa, admitted to not interviewing students Cassani had said were witnesses, or looking for a young man named Terry, a former student, who Cassani originally told police broke his phone. Nor did he save footage from a nearby green light camera that Cassani said the person who threw his phone walked by.
Had he have done those things, it's in all likelihood that Mr. Oliver would never have been arrested.
David Robinson is a former Detroit police officer turned attorney who plans to file suit on behalf of Michael next week, alleging violations of his civil rights.
There's going to have to be, obviously, a period of time where I think and that we were prayed for that the court would shut down even the use of facial recognition.
This is the second wrongful arrest due to facial recognition that has made media rounds this summer. After the wrongful arrest of Robert Williams came to light last month, Mayor Duggan said these sorts of errors are things of the past.
What you need to do is make sure you have the right protocols. And since September, there are a whole series of protocols in place that this incident would not have been possible.
But prior to formal rules being approved last fall, DPD and the mayor were insisting protocols were already in place.
It's technology, but it's really the human factor. Our crime analysts who are very diligent, and once they come with a probable person, it's peer reviewed, and then certainly a supervisor then weighs in to make sure this is a person we want to move to the next level of the investigation.
Michael was arrested 2 weeks after Craig said that.
And I was nervous. I was still nervous, even though I don't know. I didn't even know if I was going to beat it.
As for DPD, they say they have deep concerns with the investigative work in this case, and they are looking into it right now. You can read their full statement on our website right now at WXYZ.com. We're in Detroit tonight. I'm Ross Jones, 7 Action News.
Asian, welcome to the panel.
Sancho, thank you for the invite.
How are you, man? How you
Doing
feeling?
well. I'm feeling like a champion. It's almost like I snapped Thanos' glove.
I like
It's
that.
Night and day.
I like that. I like
Happy
that.
New Year.
Happy New Year to you. And so we just went over a video about a wrongful arrest. I want to kind of show the article. Is there an echo on your end? Let's try it again. Are you better now?
How do I sound?
Much better now. All right, better now. All right, so we just saw what's going on like in Michigan. Ann Arbor considering ban on police use of facial recognition technology. Let's kind of break it down, Asian, and then we'll get your thoughts on the situation that happened, the video we just played, etc. Ann Arbor officials are considering a ban on police use facial technology. Let me blow this bad boy up so everyone can see it nice and good. Thank you. All right, let's get back to it. Even the issue came up this week as City Council reconsidered its recent approval of $348,308 contract for new dashboard cameras for Ann Arbor Police Department vehicles. Even though facial recognition technology is not part of the contract, and Police Chief Michael Cox said AAPD doesn't use it, Lo Song, a council liaison to the city's Police Oversight Commission, said she brought the contract back for reconsideration Monday, January 4th, to have a public discussion about its addressed concerns. She's been in talks with Lisa Jackson about police oversight and human rights at commission. So let's look at this facial recognition. Like the Second Ward Democrat has been looking into bans in other communities across the nation, reading up on the arguments for a ban and how the technology can disproportionately misidentify people of color, and in one example, falsely match 28 members of Congress with mugshots of people arrested for crimes. Let me repeat that sentence because it's very important. Reading up on arguments for a ban and how the technology can disproportionately misidentify people of color, and in one example, falsely matched 28 members of Congress with mugshots of people arrested for crimes. One of the leading concerns is the potential for racial bans and abuse by law enforcement, which is a big reason why I'm doing this stream. I'm doing this perspective. Yeah, we're looking at the cool stuff when we're kids, and oh my God, we can put our dog on our face and our face on our dog, and this is really cool, and it's facial recognition, and I can pay for my groceries with my phone, etc. And you're looking at what's going on in China, in which I'm going to show some videos of how, and I'm using the air quotes here, Asian, how cool the facial recognition over there in China is. Is it worth the risk? Is it safe? Is it dangerous? That's the question of the day, the question for the show. The poll's going on in the chat. Vote dangerous, vote safe if you think it is. Facial recognition, Asian, what do you think so far?
Yeah, so let me just begin my participation on your panel today by stating very clearly that I am no expert in facial recognition. With that said, I do have a background in software engineering. So I do understand the technology itself. It's essentially lumped in. Facial recognition is lumped into something they call biometrics. With that said, I think from a contextual perspective, we know here in this country that there are no federal laws that regulate facial recognition technology as it relates to private entities and commercial businesses using facial recognition. For instance, employees who need to show up at the office every day instead of using a key card to get into the office. Some offices and companies now use facial recognition, biometrics, both off the face as well as the hand, fingerprints, in order to essentially authenticate the employee from accessing the building, right? So just to be clear, there are no federal laws or regulations that regulate that. I believe what you're talking about today, Sancho, is facial recognition within law and how law enforcement is using that. Would that be fair?
Yeah, law enforcement has been using it. Law enforcement has been arresting people. Law enforcement has been making mistakes with this program. They've been making mistakes with the facial recognition. They're going over, they're matching passports, mugshots, etc., with people that are caught on surveillance, and they're putting so much faith in this facial recognition system that they're making mistakes and they're getting sued. Which we're going to go over a couple lawsuits, in the stream as well. But wow, I mean, this is something that everybody was kind of embracing and they thought it was the coolest thing going on. And then all of a sudden now we're starting to look at arrest after arrest, falsely arrest. And we're also looking at the racism aspect of things. The majority of the people that are falsely arrested are of color, which we're going to go over that debate in just a few minutes. So the facial recognition, is it racist? Is this program, is this software leaning towards light skin only?
Well, that's an interesting statement you make there, Sancho. I think what we need to do, again, I'm no expert in facial recognition.
Let's pretend to be one for one day. Me and you, let's go.
But if we understand how facial recognition works from a technology perspective, it needs to start with a source image, meaning you need to have a digital image of a pre-existing face. So let's say an example of that is a mug shot. So meaning you get arrested, you go to booking, they take a mug shot. That mug shot is now in the database system. And ultimately, they use that digital imprint in order to set up facial recognition across these technology devices moving forward, right? So the question becomes is how is law enforcement obtaining these digital images of people's faces all around the world and thereby sticking it in the database? Is it primarily being sourced through pre-existing arrests, which might lead to the racial question that you just asked earlier?
Well, I was just going to say to you, I've never been arrested before, and I know the government has my facial recognition photo. They have to, from the government ID, your driver's license.
That's right.
There's so many other ways the government can get your facial recognition profile that this all started in other countries. Let's go to China. Let's show it in full force. I mean, China has this rolling in full force.
Regulated. Yep.
Regulated, rolling the whole nine. So let's check out this video and then we'll get our thoughts on it after.
Awesome.
Right, it's time now for Focus. And today we have a report on the facial recognition boom in China. The technology is used for all sorts of things like opening doors and even ensuring that everyone using a public bathroom gets the exact same amount of toilet paper. It's hailed as progress, but also poses ethical questions, particularly in a country with 170 million surveillance cameras. And that number is set to more than double in the next few years. Pierre-Philippe Berson sent us this report.
The Temple of Heaven is one of Beijing's most popular tourist spots. Several meters away from it, there's a new attraction, the public restrooms. To get toilet paper, tourists now have to stand facing this facial recognition dispenser. The rule is simple, no more than 3 sheets per person. The machine recognizes individuals trying to get more. Installed last March as a trial, this kind of dispenser could see wide use in the near future. In China, facial recognition isn't limited to just bathrooms. The technology is getting more visible on campus, too. In female dormitories at Beijing Normal University, keys are no longer used. The door automatically opens after a face scanning process. In some months, every building will be equipped with such machines. This hasn't raised any concern among the students.
This is much safer. Unknown individuals can't get in. This is not a science fiction nightmare. This is just progress. Technology makes our life better.
You need a video, but do you really want to deal with all this? Lighting.
Facial recognition is popping up everywhere in everyday life in China. The sector is booming, over 15% growth per year. Between now and 2020, sales could pass 6 billion euros. The company Face++ is a leader in the Chinese market. This startup is valued at $1 billion, partly because of its groundbreaking innovation in image scanning.
On these screens, you can see that every person in the room is filmed real time. The grid you see here is analyzing my face. Our cameras can now recognize me, even from the side or when my head rotates 30 degrees to the left or right, or 15 degrees up or down.
All employees at the company have given their face prints. Cameras film and record every move. The startup is specifically working on the security sector. The field is flourishing in China right now. There are over 170 million cameras all across the country. By 2020, there will be another 450 million of them.
Now we can convert video surveillance footage into real-time information for the police. Here we can see the exact location where we found a runaway criminal. Other countries, especially the US, have similarly advanced technology, but China is the first one to really implement this.
In an authoritarian country like China, no one publicly criticizes this mass surveillance. The protection of personal data is not really debated. However, one artist was inspired by the omnipresent army of cameras. Xu Bing is a filmmaker. He made this movie, called Dragonfly Eyes, with only surveillance camera footage.
This is Dragonfly.
There are no actors, only anonymous people who are not aware of being filmed. Some people look like each other. Xu Bing was able to form a protagonist and make a plot. Xu Bing downloaded all these materials online. In China, hundreds of websites live stream surveillance video. He has 7,000 hours in total.
We've been working on this project for over a year. Actually, it took us nearly 2 years. And during all that time, we kept downloading and watching surveillance videos. We had about 20 computers in our workshop running 24 hours a day. There were 5 or 6 staff members, sometimes less, sometimes more, but always working full-time.
As a result, the movie looks dark and worrying and poses questions about mass surveillance.
After watching all these videos, my assistants were more careful when they went out on the streets. This film has a few scary parts. And as we progressed in our work, I felt this anxiety creeping up inside me.
The movie is a snapshot of today's China, but for the director, this could soon be a reality anywhere.
Need a website? Go to Fiverr.com and find a programmer in seconds. Or don't go to Fiverr and waste your...
Right, for more on this, I'm joined in the studio by Fabrice Ebelpoint. He teaches at Sciences Po University here in...
All right. That just shows a good idea of it. You know, we're looking at something that Asian has a lot of benefits, you know, a lot of benefits from a security standpoint, a lot of benefits from finding missing children, locating terrorists, etc. But we also have that other side of the coin, which is the other side of the coin, is the dangerous side of the coin, is the mistakes. Nothing's perfect, Asian.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
That's right. So you have to weigh risk reward, right? Is there more reward or more risk? I think about like surveillance cameras, traditional public-facing surveillance cameras, like in the city of New York. We have many, many public street surveillance cameras in highly populated areas like, you know, 42nd Street where the ball drops, you know, places like that, right? So the ability to augment technology on top of surveillance cameras to include facial recognition, only because these are public facing cameras, right? From that example, I think it would help, right? So if something did happen, like a crime, terrorist act,
Right.
It's easier and quicker to identify the perps, right?
Yeah.
But it becomes an issue in the private sector.
Right.
Invasion of privacy and things like that. And then let me just add that biologically and scientifically, every DNA in the world could have a very similar match. I don't know if you knew that. So in other words, like twins.
Right.
Twin DNAs. I think in upwards of like anywhere from 2 to like 5. So meaning there's another look-alike Sancho somewhere in the world.
Right.
And that's a possibility that you weren't even aware of.
Right. Creepy to think that, though.
So it gets scary when you factor in
Yeah.
some of those variables.
So let's go. I mean, like, we're going to do negative positives here. That's what we're going to do. We're going to be like good cop, bad cop, almost like, you know. We're going to show you one more positive, one more cool thing that you might look at and say, wow, I want that in my local grocery store. I want to be able to not have to worry about bringing my wallet and losing my debit cards, etc. I don't want that. This is what I want. You know, let's play it.
This is me using my face to get into a convenience store in China where you can buy food through facial recognition technology. Using your face to buy food is already a reality. Here's one system that KFC and Chinese search engine giant Baidu implemented in China. KFC's system even remembers your face and food preferences so it can better recommend you new products. Much like KFC, this convenience store we visited in the city of Shenzhen has partnered with a tech giant, in this case, the payment app WeChat Pay, to create an experimental face-to-food experience. The store, Zhouheiya, encourages people to play and pay with facial recognition technology. With just your face and a simple thumb up, the system will deduct money from your linked WeChat account.
Taking my mobile payment, my facial recognition juice.
I come get this.
This may feel very dystopian, but facial recognition has apparently been a welcomed advancement in big cities in China.
So in China, the facial recognition is quite popular. In some scenarios, we try those face recognition techniques. So you don't have need to bring your mobile phone anymore. You simply show up and you take things away and it will directly be deducted from your account.
To grasp how close China is to making facial recognition a reality, you first have to understand how close they already are to being a cashless society. Much of this has to do with WeChat Pay and its competitor Alipay, which both use QR codes to complete transactions. According to Professor Oh Yang, in 2017, mobile payment transactions in China added up to $20 trillion, almost double China's annual GDP. WeChat is what's known as a super app. You can send money, text friends, make dinner reservations, and much more all in one space. And this makes WeChat indispensable to everyday life.
即係話我哋咧，大部分人都係用緊微信。微信支付咧係一個好神奇嘅嘢。
This is my cousin, a Shenzhen native, and I roped him in to give us his perspective on how ubiquitous WeChat has become.
我平時出去都唔帶銀包噶啦，銀包太大隻啦，冇手機咁方便。我手機可以代替到銀包所有功能。
QR codes, WeChat Pay, and Alipay have become the norm.
你可以喺路邊停車嘅時候交費。 或者你甚至可以處理你嘅交通違法。
These payment apps are so powerful that they have the potential to replace banks for the users.
For example, you can borrow money on your WeChat app. If I press this, they will evaluate your credit profile.
This amount is the equivalent of an $8,000 loan. WeChat has become so ubiquitous in China that many people prefer it to traditional banking, despite these loans being backed by actual financial institutions. Analysts in China predict that about 40% of those transaction fees could go to payment apps like WeChat by 2020, leaving China's banks in a scramble.
The bank are annoyed because they only see numbers of money goes to Alibaba, go to WeChat. Those bank senior officials talk to me considering different ways of how to compete with those new institutions. And so far, they don't come up with very good ideas, but we'll still trying.
With the wide use of QR codes and mobile payment apps, Professor Ouyang sees facial recognition as the obvious next step. But convenience is just the silver lining in what could be a sophisticated form of mass surveillance. Already in Shenzhen, facial recognition is being used to catch jaywalkers. 3 fugitives were caught at massive concerts this year through facial recognition technology. And in the highly policed province of Xinjiang, facial recognition is used to track Muslim Uyghurs.
There's a rumor that China is the safest country in the world. In Shenzhen, when you walk in the street, you'll see a lot of cameras. It sounds like a police state, right? But in China, if you don't do anything wrong, what do you fear?
Traveling in China has become nearly impossible without the use of QR codes and mobile payment apps. And a future with facial recognition may not be that far off.
一般如果你而家係想用現金嘅話咧，喺一啲小鋪頭嗰度，你攞一張100蚊嘅出嚟，佢甚至冇散紙可以找你，係。
Is the price of convenience worth the huge loss in privacy? To leave us with some words from the late and great Prince, who gave this speech at the Yahoo Internet Life Awards in 1999.
Don't be fooled by the internet. It's cool to get on the computer, but don't let the computer get on you.
Makes sense. Asian, your thoughts?
I think overall, at the highest level, there's tremendous benefits to facial recognition. One good example is on my iPhone. Instead of using the PIN number to unlock my phone, I could use Face ID.
Right.
To unlock it. And that's a huge benefit for me, right?
That is, but it kind of also look from a security standpoint, it's big. But there's positives and negatives in everything, right? There's positives and negatives in everything. There's a panel link. Anybody, if you guys want to hop on and join us. Joe Black, please come up. I love your insight. I know facial recognition is going on a lot in the UK. So if you want to come up, I know I just gave China's, what they're doing in China. When's the limit though, Asian? When does it stop to the point where it's like, I really like this technology, but can we not do blank?
The difference between being sentenced to the death penalty versus not. Meaning, if the only overriding factor is face recognition, then I think there needs to be more in the court of law and the judicial system. I mean, you can't just sentence someone to death over a crime because facial recognition says it was you.
Right.
Right? There has to be additional evidence along with facial recognition. It can't be the be and end all.
Joe, is that you?
Yep, it's me.
So what's your thoughts on facial recognition, A, and B, what's the productivity like in the UK with this facial recognition software?
Well, same as all sort of technology, and people say this with guns and stuff. Technology itself is not good or bad. It's the implementation of it.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm not sure how facial recognition is being used that much in the UK at the moment. We do have the in London, we've got the most cameras per capita.
Okay.
And, but same with most places. I mean, you're going to be on camera when you sort of go out.
Right.
No matter how many cameras there are, if there's enough cameras.
Well, just because Joe Black isn't sure how things are going on in the UK doesn't mean I'm not going to tell you. So I'm going to play a video now of how facial recognition is being used in London, and we'll go on from there.
Now it's to begin using it for real. Scotland Yard says facial recognition cameras will be vital in spotting criminal suspects and missing and vulnerable people. Police say the system won't retain images of anybody not on a watch list.
every image that is looked at by the technology, if there is no match, it's instantaneously deleted. So it's a momentary comparison. If it's not a match, it's instantaneously deleted. The only images that are retained are those where there's been an alert, and they're retained for a maximum of 31 days.
But privacy campaigners say the move is a stain on the new government's human rights record.
Never before have members of the public been treated like walking ID cards, subjected to an ongoing police lineup, that our identities have to be biometrically checked to make sure we're not criminals. That's a complete inversion of the traditional presumption of innocence that is so at the heart of British civil liberties. And that's why I think this is none less than an assault on our...
Why didn't you say that, Joe?
Police say the technology works like this. The faces of anyone not on a watch list appear
because it's not implemented. When was this
from?
from?
What happens when a suspect above
11
is
months
caught in the
ago?
crowd below. The potential match alerts officers on the ground, and
Yeah,
they
it's not exactly been implemented. It's a
at
thing
least
they're
3 forces have been
thinking of
piloting
and
the technology.
off
Here, the
pilot
South
and
Wales force
thinking
used
of
it
doing.
to monitor football fans. When one passerby challenged its use, the High Court backed the police. There are conflicting statistics about the accuracy of facial recognition technology. The Home Office said it fully supported police in its use. Martin Brunt, Sky News.
There you go. Taco?
Yep.
Oh, I just want to make sure that was you, Taco. How are you?
Yeah.
You
Been better.
wanted me to go live. You posted on my page. I missed you. Go live. Here I am. Give me a hug. Give me a kiss. I missed you too.
I miss you, Sancho.
You killed the fucking mood. I'm Agent, take over. I quit. I quit. He sucked the air out of the fucking room.
That was fast.
Excuse me for having a kidney stone, buddy.
That was fast. You probably went to smoke some weed.
Yeah.
How are you, Taco?
I have a kidney stone, but other than that, just peachy.
All right, you get a pass because you have a kidney stone.
That sucks.
So needy.
You get a pass.
At least I show up.
What do you mean I show up? I scheduled a stream and I'm here.
No, I said at least I show up.
Well, thank you for... I already thanked you for being here.
I know.
Well, what more do you need from me?
So
I don't know.
About best way to get rid of kidney stones. Go on
Sancho.
Theme park rides, roller coasters, and that.
Oh, okay. All right, let's try to save this stream because Josh kind of just. So let's go with kind
I
of.
thought Streamlabs kind of.
Well, it's called information stats. It's educating. It's a lot more than playing a fucking video game for 4 hours. All right, we're getting your brain stimulated. Okay,
we're spamming the chat.
It's called over an hour of research and prep. That's what it's called.
Is that what it's called? I thought it's called spamming the chat.
I did that automatically. I put everything, all the websites, all the stats, all the links. I put it all on Streamlabs to go out. This was an impromptu stream. I thought I'd have more people in. Glenn's got more fucking viewers than me. How do you think I feel right now? This was an impromptu thing. Everybody wants me to go. I'm live. Here I am.
Wait, did you say Glenn was on? See ya.
Go support him. That's fine. He knew I was going live too, and he went live a half hour before me. Just saying. Everybody
Raging
wants me to
Cajun.
go live. I go live.
And you guys are tag team partners.
We're me, Andrew, and Glenn are the 6-man tag team champions.
He just hit you with a chair behind the back.
He's Beyonce right now. He's trying to be Beyonce with me right now. Or he's trying to be like Seth Rollins, turning on the Shield.
Yeah.
Like doing his own thing. I mean, he's going to go.
Yeah, he just hit you with the steel chair behind the back.
He's going to go live with long hair and beautiful locks and a new wrestling uniform and everything after this. I'm telling you, he's going to go for the world title.
With the gold tights?
With the gold tights. Yep.
Those were awful.
They were. But listen, Can we try to get back to the subject?
I guess we could.
All right. So this is what kind of got my juices flowing with this facial recognition. This just happened actually in New Jersey, so not that far from you, Asian. Another arrest and jail time due to bad facial recognition match. Here we are. This just happened a few weeks ago. This individual, Niger Parks, is a third person known to be arrested for a crime he did not commit based on a bad face recognition match. In February 2019, Niger Parks was accused of shoplifting candy and trying to hit a police officer with a car at a Hampton Inn in Woodbridge, New Jersey. The police had identified him using a facial recognition software, even though he was 30 miles away at the time of the incident. Mr. Parks spent 10 days in jail and paid around $5,000 to defend himself. So this is expensive. When these kind of mistakes are made for the citizen, it costs fucking money. You lose time. You know, this individual spent 10 days in jail and spent around $5,000 to just prove that he wasn't where they said he was. He was 30 miles from the incident. Now he's suing the police, like the prosecutor in the city of Woodbridge, for false arrest, false imprisonment, and violation of his civil rights. He's the third person known to be falsely arrested based on a bad facial recognition match. In all three cases, the people mistakenly identified by the technology have been black men. Facial recognition technology is known to have flaws. In 2019, a national study of over 100 facial recognition algorithms found that they did not work as well on black and Asian faces. Two other black men, Robert Williams and Michael Oliver, who both live in the Detroit area, who are also arrested for crimes they did not commit based on bad facial recognition matches. Like Mr. Parks, Mr. Oliver sued over the wrongful arrest. ACLU is getting deeply involved in this. Like multiple people have come forward about being wrongfully arrested because of this flawed and privacy-invading surveillance technology. Law enforcement often defends the use of facial recognition despite its flaws by saying it is used only as a clue in a case and will not directly lead to an arrest. But Mr. Park's experience is another example of an arrest based on almost solely on a suggested match by technology. So here's what happened, guys. On Saturday, January 19th, two police officers showed up at the Hampton Inn after receiving a report of a man stealing snacks from the gift shop. The alleged shoplifter, black man, nearly 6 feet tall, wearing a black jacket, was visiting Hertz office in the hotel lobby, trying to get the rental agreement for a gray Dodge Challenger extended. The officers confronted him, and he apologized. According to police, he said he would pay for the snacks and gave the officers a Tennessee driver's license. When the officers found the license, they discovered it fraudulent. According to police reports, one of the police officers spotted a big bag of suspected marijuana in the man's pocket. They tried to handcuff him. That was when the man ran, losing a shoe on his way to the rental car. As he drove off, the man hit a parked police car in a column in front of the hotel. One of the officers said he had to jump out of the way to avoid being hit. And the rental car was later found abandoned in a parking lot a mile away. A detective in Woodbridge Police Department sent a photo from the fake driver's license. The fake driver's license. Anyone can have a fake driver's license, unfortunately. The police department used the fake driver's license of the state agencies that had access to facial recognition technology. According to police report, the following day they had a facial recognition match. Niger Parks, who lived in Paterson, New Jersey, 30 miles away, worked at a grocery store. The detective compared Mr. Parks' New Jersey state ID with the fake Tennessee driver's license and agreed it was the same person. After a Hertz employee confirmed that the license photo was of the shoplifter, the police issued a warrant for Mr. Parks' arrest. I don't think that he looked like me, Mr. Parks said. The only thing we have in common is the beard. Mr. Parks' mistaken arrest was first reported by NJ Advanced Media, which said the facial recognition app Clearview AI. Remember that word because I'm going to go over Clearview. Clearview AI has been used in the case based on a claim in Mr. Parks' lawsuit. His lawyer, Daniel Jackson, said he had inferred that Clearview A1 was used given media reports about facial recognition in New Jersey and now believe he was mistaken. What is Clearview AI, Taco Josh? Great question. Clearview AI is a facial recognition tool that uses billions of photos scraped from the public's web, Facebook, Twitter, everything. You name it, like LinkedIn, like Instagram, They pretty much was analyzed it. So that's the public thing we talked about earlier, Mr. Asian. They scrape it from social media, etc. According to the police report, the match in this case was to a licensed photo, which would reside in a government, which would reside in a database by the government, to which Clearview AI does not even has access to. Crazy.
Well, clearly, Clearview's AI is like your old racist grandmother who thinks all black people look the same.
Right.
Yeah, in the most simplified form, I agree with that. Again, I'm just going to re-echo what I said earlier. I think facial recognition or biometrics as a whole, the technology is beneficial in general.
Right.
But as it relates to things like crime and things like that, it's not enough. It can't be the end-all, be-all.
Yeah, it just sounds like lazy police work. Like, one thing is not enough. You need to do multiple. So,
yeah,
and a bit of investigation.
I think the technology's getting there, but it's just not there yet.
So let's talk about the ACLU. They're going after Clearview AI. They're taking them to court.
Of course they are.
Yeah. I don't know about that. It's public information.
Hold on.
If you
Let it play.
Pictures.
Clearview's technology is a real nightmare scenario. They've amassed a database of more than 3 billion face prints of people from around this country without consent, without telling us, and they're using it to market an incredibly dangerous tool to police, to private corporations, and to private individuals to track and follow and surveil us. We are in a profound moment of protest against racial injustice and police abuses. The last thing we need is this dangerous technology wielded as a tool to identify and track us as we speak up. Imagine you're a survivor of domestic violence. You've escaped your abuser. You set up a new life, a new address. Maybe you've changed your name even in an extreme case. This technology threatens to undo all of that at the stroke of a key on a computer. Using a smartphone app, a user of this technology can snap a photo of someone in public and instantaneously match to photos obtained from their online social media accounts or other websites. That's a tremendous power and a tremendous violation of people's privacy rights.
Wow.
Foreign regimes.
There's a long history in this country, surveillance tools being used against communities of color, dissidents, and other marginalized communities. And study after study by the federal government and academics has shown that face recognition technology is less accurate when it's used against people of color, against women, and against younger people. This surveillance technology is dangerous, and it must be stopped.
How much do we value our privacy, Asian you first?
How much do we value it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, with the utmost.
Do you feel exposed now? I mean, we were talking earlier about the government. I mean, you and I are two people who have rarely showed our face on this social media platform, but we have in others clearly. Do you still feel exposed like I do a little bit right now?
Well, after hearing this, absolutely, especially after hearing that there's no consent. So it sounds like these artificial intelligence algorithms are pulling those facial images from the internet. So whether it be a Twitter account, a Facebook account, an Instagram account, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, the issue I'm having is they're pulling it without my consent.
Joe?
But if you put thousands of selfies up on Instagram and you don't have the settings to, only friends and family can see it, then you're the one putting your pictures out there. You're blaming someone else for looking at them. You've got to take some responsibility yourself.
I would agree with that as well. And I think what can help that is additional regulations around the internet. And I think there's a major lack thereof. But there's no doubt we're headed down this path.
So let me go to a positive story with facial recognition, because I'm going to keep bouncing you guys back and forth. I'm going to scare you. I'm going to hug you. I'm going to scare you. I'm going to hug you. That's pretty much how we do it here. All right. So let's look at facial recognition making an arrest being a benefit. ABC, you better not fucking strike me. Let's go.
They will.
Exciting tool, but ADOT says it's working. We're talking about facial recognition technology. It's used when every one of us goes to get or renew our driver's license. ABC 15's No Halani Graph is live at the MVD in Tempe for us this morning. No, hey, you've got some new numbers and even a new arrest made thanks to this system.
Yeah, Danielle, this guy was a known member of a notorious Chicago gang, an alleged drug dealer, now off our streets, all because he came and tried to get a driver's license using a name that wasn't his. His real name, Sandro Tintori. He already had 2 Arizona driver's licenses using stolen identities, something police say he'd been doing for years. ADOT making that discovery through their facial recognition technology. Every one of us ends up in that database when we deal with the MVD. That's why some people don't like it, because they feel like it puts us in an endless criminal lineup. But ADOT says what's really happening is workers are trained to play a matching game, if you will. And if you don't look like who you say you are, they send the info to the FBI.
One picture might have 3 different names to it. Well, that's a good red flag there that person's probably using fake IDs.
So the system has been in place for about a year and a half. ADOT says they have now brought over 100 criminal cases to the courts. Often it's longtime criminals using stolen IDs to hide from the law. I'm No Halani.
All right. There's a benefit, right? There's a benefit for it. You know, I mean, we're going to keep going back and forth and look at the benefits of it. I do want to look at the racial biasness. Did I say that right? Racial bias?
Yeah.
The racial bias.
Racial bias-y.
Bias-y. Bias. Racial bias. All right, stop. All right? You stop. Listen, I have to go pee. Who wants to take over for a few seconds? Agent Josh, take over. Racial. Okay, let me throw this question out there for you guys to chew on. Before I play the facial recognition algorithms, do you guys think it's racist?
I don't know enough about the underlying technology to answer that question.
I think if it is, it's not done on purpose. It's probably it's something within the computer program itself that it's having trouble recognizing something. But I would say it's not something like the computer programmers like, I don't like black people. I'm going to make it, think that all black people are the same, type thing.
Yeah, I think the accuracy, maybe, across, African Americans, Asians, it might be less accurate versus maybe, Caucasian people as an example.
Right. I was thinking maybe if it was just African Americans, it was because of the darker skin. Maybe it had trouble reading lines on skin a little bit more.
Well, let's find out, shall we? Hold on. Let's find out. Black people versus white people. Facial recognition. Let's go.
Hello. So this is a short comment on the topic of facial recognition differences between people with light and people with dark skin. Just a comment to say that this topic has got some technical reasons that are worthy to tell. People with lighter faces have got a better chance to be detected because facial recognition works on facial features extraction and recognition. So if the person has got a dark skin, it is more likely that the recognition is going to be worse. Why? Because the features in the image will be less. Mainly if the image has got dark light or bad lighting. While people with lighter faces will get a better chance to be detected if the lighting in the whole image is, let's say, good. Doesn't have to be pretty good. So as you see, I've done a test myself, and you could tell that increasing the brightness and contrast for person with a dark face has got his face to be detected better, while applying some filters to make the whole picture look alike, to make it be somehow monochromic. For light, if a person with light face has got to be detected worse.
What do you think about that? Joe, what do you think about that? Joe?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Why are you guys, listen, this is middle of the day for me, and you guys are all fucking, I mean, Jesus, what's wrong? I haven't
That
been
guy was a little
around.
hard to understand.
Was he?
Yeah.
That was, yeah, I mean, what, I mean.
He was a little mumbly.
So why didn't you guys jump in and say, hey, I kind of didn't hear a lot of it?
It wasn't that we didn't hear a lot of it. It was him mumbling. We were trying to hear it. Like, you could play it about 8 times and we're still not going to hear much of it.
All right, let's go to MIT studies.
Basically, it's saying that the AI struggles with when it's bad lighting on, black people's faces. It has a difficult time recognizing them.
That wasn't a good example. This is a better example.
Fast. No. Turns
Did you
out
hear this guy good?
fighting facial recognition technology has a pretty major
Why didn't you go to this
fatal
one the
flaw.
first time?
I thought
New
I
York
was. It was the
Times
wrong
reports that while facial recognition systems have been dangerously used by police for more than 2 decades, recent studies by MIT and the National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST, have found that while the technology works relatively well on white men, the results are less accurate for other demographics, in part because a lack of diversity in the images used to develop the underlying databases. And this flaw in the programming has now made poor father of 2, Robert Williams, famous for potentially being the first U.S. citizen arrested for a crime he did not commit because of a failed algorithm. As NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden chillingly tweeted, "This is the story of your future told today." So let's take a dive into today's future dangers as we start watching the Hawks.
If you want to know what's going on in your city, in your streets, you want to rise above the sheep, let me show you what you seek. See the uprisings, opioids,
The thing that I look at here is that there's so many people who counted on this being the make or break technology to where, we would have eradicated humans actually having to decide who committed said crimes. And then to find out that this facial recognition software was utilized mostly by white people's facial recognition, which obviously looks entirely different from that of African Americans. So it's pegging anyone who happens to be black as anybody else who happens to be black.
Yeah. Which is literally one of the problems that we've had over the years with the police is
kills the entire point.
They can't tell the difference between black men and women when, chasing down a suspect. Yeah. Like it boggles my mind. The Detroit police now say that from now on, after this kind of amazing failure, they'll only use still photos, not like security video footage, to use by their facial recognition software, and that it will only be used in violent crimes, which to me is kind of like, okay, But what if it gets it wrong and accuses somebody of a violent crime, which is a far worse penalty than $3,800 worth of shoplifting?
Exactly. I don't see how that's helpful.
No.
Because at this point, if you're only going to use it in upper level crimes, which I would consider violent crime because they carry a much harsher penalty, and oftentimes when a police officer is responding to someone who they feel as though they've committed a violent crime, they're a lot more aggressive anyway. So the odds of this person being beaten, being treated, in a very different way because of him being a suspect of a violent crime are a lot higher.
Josh, how would you feel if facial recognition was used by your local police department?
I figure it
Safe
already
by
is.
that, or- Would you feel safe by that or no?
I mean, partially. I mean, it's something that I've kind of already taken for as a given.
Mm-hmm. Do you have complete faith and trust in the facial recognition being used by law enforcement in your area?
No, but it is what it is. I mean, you're not going to stop it.
Jesus. You agree with that horrible logic, Joe Black?
Well, pretty much, yeah. It's going to happen, and it's going to improve as well over time. It's not going to get worse, is it, at recognizing faces? And as long as it's not used as the only thing, use it as part of a full investigation.
Action.
Most definitely. Robert Williams wrote actually an op-ed about his experience. He said, quote, my daughters can't unsee me being handcuffed, as you mentioned, and put into police car, but they can see me use this experience to bring some good into the world. That means helping make sure my daughters don't grow up in a world where their driver's license or Facebook photos could be used to target, track, or harm them. And I hope that that is a world that we all have to get together and start fighting against, because that scares me of just innocent people being, because look, we're innocent until proven guilty in this country. Just because someone gets arrested doesn't mean that they're guilty of the crime. And it doesn't, just because a computer says somebody did something wrong doesn't mean they're guilty of a crime. And this is just very dangerous and frightening to me.
Oh, absolutely. I definitely agree.
There is some hope, though. Facial recognition biometric technology moratorium act, which was introduced recently in Congress, would ban the government's use of facial recognition and other biometric technology nationwide. That was done by Senator Ed Markey, Jeff Merkley, Pramila Jayapal, and Ayanna Pressley have all introduced that, which I hope that gets voted and passed, because
that won't get passed.
We need that.
You don't think it'll get passed? Who
Nope.
in the chat thinks it would get passed? Anybody? Interesting that things are being done, because we're looking at the stats of people being falsely arrested and falsely accused. It's like, yeah, no big deal. Only 10 days in jail, $5,000 spent of their money. Come on. All because the color of their skin? All because they're a shade or two darker than, come on. That's not a crime. It's not a crime that they're a shade or two darker. This is where I have a serious issue with this, where it becomes a little too fucking dangerous for me. A little too fucking dangerous for me, guys. So
you're not. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
You're not gonna put a moratorium on biometrics and stuff like this. It's just not gonna happen. And the senators that he listed that introduced this bill are from the extreme left of the Democratic Party. So to even think that it's going to pass is highly unlikely.
Joe, what do you think? Joe, I hate
just
that.
Wondering how it's majorly different. Sorry,
go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I was saying, how is it majorly different? What? Every time I start speaking, you talk over me.
I'm not talking.
I'm not sure whether you want me to speak or not.
I'm not talking. I'm not talking. I'm quiet.
Oh, okay. Well, I started speaking, and about 3 times, and someone started speaking as well. Nearly forgotten what I was going to say.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What a diva.
There you go,
Oh yeah,
talking
how
over
is
him
it
again.
different from police using a description or very vague description and then harassing and arresting someone who's completely innocent who happened to be in the area, fitting that very vague description?
What about those police sketch artists? How accurate are they?
Well, isn't an eyewitness supposed to be one of the least plausible witnesses?
Really? That's crazy.
Well, it's when that's all they have to go off of. That's when they use them.
Right. All right, wrongfully arrested. Let's go back to this individual story.
So when we get to the interview room, the first thing they had me do was read my rights to myself and then sign off that I read and understand my rights. A detective turns over a picture of a guy inside Shinola, and he's like, "So that's not you?" I look. I said, "No, that's not me." He turns another paper over. He said, "I guess this not you either." I picked that paper up and hold it next to my face. And I said, "This is not me." I was like, "I hope y'all don't think all black people look alike." And then he says, "The computer says it's you. Your nose is red and your lips is red." Hey, you got a tooth coming in. No. Yeah, you do. Your tooth tastes like pineapples. At that time, no. I didn't know that they used any type of facial recognition or anything like that until talking with the detectives who showed me that that's what they used to apprehend me, if that's the right word. In the morning, everybody gets dressed, everybody gets ready. Lissa leaves and takes Rosie to my mother-in-law's. And then I drop Juju off to school. It's just a boring Thursday, right? We're on the phone with Lissa around 4. So then my line clicks. I click over. I'm like, "Hello." The guy's talking like he knows me. He's Robert. And I'm like, "Who is this?" "You need to come down and turn yourself in." "Who is this?" "Officer, somebody from the 3rd precinct. And I need to turn myself in for what?" So he's like, "I can't tell you that." I'm like, "Then I can't come down." "Well, if you come down, it'll be much easier on you. You don't want us to come out to your job, do you?" At this point, I think it's a prank call. So I'm like, "Look, man, if you want me, come get me. I'll be at home. Bring a warrant." And I hang up on him.
My mom got home with Rosie and we were walking through. And as I was walking through, I looked out and the cop car was outside. And I said, "Oh, so it wasn't a prank call. They really are people here." They came to the door. I answered it and they kind of stuck their foot in the door and said, "Send Robert out." And I said, "He's not here." And they said, "We just saw him come out of that van." And I said, "That was my mom. He's not here."
I'm just like, this will probably be over when I get there. It's got to be a mistaken identity or something. I don't know why Detroit police are at my house in Farmington Hills. I pull in the driveway here, pull up in my regular spot, hop out. By the time I close the door, the car is in the driveway blocking me in. And they park this way across my driveway as if I'm going to back out or something and try to take off.
As soon as he shut the door, they were right on him. And I was in here still because I had the girls. And I tried to tell Julia to wait here and Rosie to wait here while I was going to go outside. And of course, they didn't want to do that because they were confused. They could tell something was not right. And they were already starting to cuff him by the time we get out there.
I was completely shocked and stunned to be arrested in broad daylight in front of my daughter, in front of my wife, in front of my neighbors. It was I can't really put it into words. It was one of the most shocking things I ever had happen to me.
He could have been killed if he would have resisted, being a black man, being arrested, or having any encounter with the police. It could go badly. And that is something that we worry about in the black family when someone has an encounter with the police.
Some detectives came to see me. They took me out of the cell and to an interview room. And then they was like, "Would you like to make a statement?" And I'm like, "I don't even know what's going on." Guy says, "If you don't sign off saying that you want to make a statement, we can't give you any information." So I signed to say I'm gonna make a statement. He laid the papers out on the table, and at that time I was still guilty in their eyes until the pictures don't match. And they left them on the table, and they looked at each other like, "Oops." It says this is used only for investigative purposes and not to arrest. You're the rosebud. Oh no, Rose, you taste like chicken.
I taste like pineapple.
Hey, Julia. Julia, do you know why Daddy got arrested?
Because I looked it up on the computer.
Remember that when we was outside? I said they made a mistake and I'll be right back. I wasn't right back till was it?
We didn't think this could happen. We didn't think it was a thing. Even with me following the facial recognition news and how it was being used, I didn't ever expect the police to show up at our doorstep and arrest my husband. So I just feel like other people should know that it can happen and it did happen and it shouldn't happen.
He'd have just brought the picture with him. He could have looked it up and down. He could have left and said, "Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to bother you."
To have my girls out there and seeing that was, their first interaction with the police. And for that to be what it was, to them taking their dad, we're always going to wonder now, how much did this affect them? How much do they think about it? How much did they told their friends, their teacher? I don't know what's happening in the 5-year-old mind or the 2-year-old mind, what they saw and how they're processing it.
I don't even know what it's worth to not be arrested in front of your children. What's that worth to you?
It's already done. The damage is already done with my family. How it ever affected my girls. I like to think my husband's a strong person, but nobody should want to go sit in a detention center for however 30 hours, whatever it was.
They need to get their evidence right before they come and arresting anyone. Black, white, brown, red, just anyone. But they really need to get their evidence right as far as the false facial recognition, because someone could be locked up or hurt or killed that's innocent.
Line them up. Bang, bang, bang. There you go. Get up. They just pulling pictures from everywhere, matching you up from anywhere from social media to, I guess if you're in the background of a picture and it's a clear picture of you, they can use that. And it obviously doesn't work.
There we go. Taco Josh, your thoughts?
I can't say anything because I've been put on timeout from the chat.
Who put you on timeout?
Julie and
did they really?
Catnat. Yep, they said Taco Josh is on timeout.
That's going to be a little difficult with you on a panel. Just saying. Just because it's like, how I am with dead air. It's the worst thing.
Yeah.
It's really
But no, the one thing I will say is, and I would say this to anyone who has dealings with cops, is when you're taken in for questioning is lawyer up. You know, even if you're 100% innocent, lawyer up, because
What if you don't have the chance to? Because he was left. He was pretty much thrown in a cage and left alone for hours, not even questioned. And then, I mean, he was treated like absolute. He was guilty when it wasn't even the right person.
once you're read your Miranda rights, you have the opportunity to demand a lawyer.
All right. Well, that's happening in Detroit. Let's go to Buffalo, the home of the AFC East champs, Buffalo Bills. This happened about a year ago.
Night Speedway offering sincere regret for what happened to one of its customers last month. Eric Martin was arrested at the Speedway on Kenmore Avenue after a cashier called Town of Tonawanda police claiming he was trying to cash in a stolen lottery ticket. Madison Carter joining us now in the newsroom with reaction from Martin's family. Madison.
Yeah, Ashley, representatives for Eric Martin say this played out just months after what we saw with George Floyd in Minneapolis, and they said this was a very similar situation. They said this 30-year-old was arrested in front of his family over a $30 lottery ticket. Now, this is some video of that arrest. A store clerk called the police, falsely accusing Eric Martin of trying to cash in on this stolen ticket. The night before, there was a break-in at the Speedway where items, including lottery tickets, were taken from the shop. His attorney says he was fearful of getting into a police car after stating his innocence, which is why he is seen resisting officers as he was arrested in front of his wife, infant daughter, and 9-year-old son. His attorney says he was taken into an interrogation room at the police station and then strip searched. Representatives for the family say none of this should have ever happened.
We want to be very positive that you are aware that this is an outstanding young man. But even if he had made mistakes, even if he had a past, which Eric doesn't, even if he wasn't a homeowner and wasn't making a great salary, it shouldn't have happened.
And just a week after that arrest, the Speedway store sent an email to the Town of Tonawanda police confirming the tickets were actually purchased by Martin. An attorney calls the delay in their investigation, which resulted in the false arrest of Martin, reckless. Police say the charges against him were immediately dismissed and he was released that very same day. Now, reps for the family say he was banged up a bit, but the police report says that he was arrested without injury. His attorney tells us today the situation is very fluid. They're calling the
All right. That might not have been facial recognition mistake. Joe Black, you should have spoke over it. Sorry. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
Well, I wanted to speak on the other one, but you've moved on now. So
No, go ahead. No.
Let's go to Taco Josh.
We don't move on from you. Go ahead. Go ahead. Give it to me.
What? What do you want? What do you want me to give you?
Give it to me.
What do you want me to give you?
Your verbal vitamins.
Well, if you heard on the previous video, if you remember, the computer seemed to do a lot better than the cops, at least. Because remember, she said that the police said, we saw him get out the car and go inside. And she said that was her mother.
Okay.
I just found that very funny.
Wow. All that build up for that.
Yep.
All right. Teen sues Apple for $1 billion over false arrest. I don't know if like when you talk to a lawyer, Joe Black, and Joe Black talks, and say, hey, how much do you want to go for? Hey, it's Apple. Let's go for $1 billion. Why the fuck not, Joe Black?
$1 billion.
Let's go for $1 billion, Joe Black.
Well,
hold on, Joe. Joe, you paused. That's why I talked over you. Go ahead.
Basically, if you ask for a certain amount, they're not going to give you more than that amount. They could give you less, but they're not going to give you more.
Right. So let's start high and go low.
Yeah.
$1 billion is really high.
It is quite high.
Let's
Just
see,
a tad.
Just a little bit. Let's see what's going on with Apple.
Apple just wrapped up a long-running legal battle with Qualcomm, but it looks like the iPhone maker might already have another huge case to address. 18-year-old Usman Ba from New York is suing the company for $1 billion over a false arrest in November. Ba believes that he was mistakenly connected to a series of thefts from Apple stores because of a facial recognition system that he claims the company uses in its surveillance to prevent shoplifting. According to the lawsuit, Ba believes that a non-photo ID that he had lost might have been presented as identification in an Apple store, which then tied his name to the thief's face in the company's system. Then when that person was identified as the culprit, his face was registered as Ba's on the surveillance. An Apple spokesperson has told us since our story published that the company doesn't use facial recognition in its stores. Ba was arrested at his home in November and charged in multiple cases in jurisdictions including New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and Delaware. Charges in 3 of the cases against him have been dropped. In the Massachusetts case, he claimed he had never been to Boston prior to his arraignment there. And on the day of the alleged theft in Boston, he said he was in Manhattan attending his senior prom. It certainly seems like Ba has had to undergo an ordeal. According to the suit, he was forced to respond to multiple false allegations, which he says led to severe stress and hardship, as well as significant damage to his positive reputation that he had put so much effort into upholding. He is asking for a huge amount of money, though. In addition to the $1 billion in damages, he also wants Apple to make a declaration that it wrongfully and baselessly damaged his reputation. And he wants a court order compelling Apple to address the mistake in the stored data that links his identifying information to the company's purported facial recognition technology. Apple hasn't commented on the case, and we'll see if the two parties might end up settling this out of court. We'll see you tomorrow.
There you go. I don't know about this facial recognition, guys.
This has
Go ahead.
Nothing for Apple works.
Joe, go ahead.
Well, they're saying this has nothing to do with facial recognition.
What do you mean?
They're saying that this has nothing to do with facial recognition.
Well, that's what Apple's saying, but that's not what he's saying.
They just said they don't use facial recognition. It was someone using a false identity card.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what they're saying, but he's saying something different. There's always two sides to every story, Joe. You don't got to get confrontational.
My bad.
Joe, what's your thoughts on ICE?
It's cold.
Okay. So ICE is expanding its use of facial recognition, looking for illegal immigrants, etc. And we're going to play a quick little video about that and get everyone's thoughts on what we think.
Using facial recognition technology. That's not too surprising to most of us. But more insidiously, they have mined databases of driver's license from across the nation, often without the approval or agreement of those agencies. NPR, CBS, and others have reported these stories, and the hearing in Congress raised some serious questions. This is from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Amazon actually met with ICE officials over facial
I think that was
recognition
Murph.
system that could identify immigrants. I'd like to submit this to the congressional record.
Without objection.
Do you think it's fair to say that Americans are essentially being spied on and surveilled on a massive scale without their consent or knowledge?
I will say most of the law enforcement agency systems operate on DMV databases or mugshot databases, so information that has been collected by agencies rather than companies.
Do you think that this could exacerbate the already egregious inequalities in our criminal justice system?
It already is.
Now, there's a lot of debate about how reliable facial recognition technology really is. A new report by The Independent showed that misidentification can reach 98% of cases in some cases. It's clear that facial recognition technology is also highly racially biased. It is biased because it's based on white men and their faces. The consequences that people of color will have an enormously higher rate of misidentification. And then there's a looming question of who controls this technology and how do you control the government's and private businesses' use of it? What about the future of our privacy, which is the great question of 1984? And we are joined today by someone to help us parse through all of this and figure out what's going on. Evan Greer is a queer activist, singer-songwriter, organizer, parent, speaker, and workshop facilitator based
Look
in
at that
Boston.
hair, Taco.
Writes for many media venues and is deputy
Look at that
director
hair.
of Fight for the Future. And Evan,
Yep.
welcome. Good to have you with us here on The Real News.
Sorry.
Thanks so much for having me on.
I like your hair, but that's all I want to hear from you.
I'm
All right.
guessing he doesn't like. I'm guessing he doesn't like facial recognition.
Well, honestly, after the 90 minutes I've spent talking about it, I don't know if I do either with the racial biasness. There's so much racial biasness. How can you like facial recognition?
I'm not a fan of it, but it's here to stay.
Joe Black?
Yeah, it's like they're not going to pass a thing saying no, you can't use it. It is like Josh said, it's here to stay. Hopefully, it's going to improve, and hopefully, it's not used as the only thing. It's used as part.
Right.
And they actually, do some investigation, not just, oh, look, the computer says it's this guy, we'll go and arrest this guy.
Right.
Even though he's in a completely different state and has never been in, to that's the other state where the crime was committed.
Mm-hmm.
There's loads of evidence that says he was, at a something major event where at the time, but no, the computer says it was him, so we're going to arrest him. It's like, no, you've got to do some investigation.
Do you think a bigger issue might be law enforcement being too much relying on facial recognition that they get a little lazy?
I would say, in the most part, they're lazy no matter what.
Oh wow! Wow.
Most of what we've seen on the false arrests and things, it's them being lazy.
I think they do rely on tools sometimes too much.
Right. I agree. In its 2018 testing, NIST found that 0.2% of searches in a database of 26.6 million photos failed to match the correct image, compared with 4% failure rate in 2014. Yes, you read that. It's a 20 times improvement over 4 years. Think about it as this way: artificial neural network algorithms are helping face recognition algorithms to be more accurate. There you go.
Yeah, see, it's improving. It's just going to take time.
Yeah, but
so,
how many people are going to be wrongfully thrown in jail for 10 fucking days until we get the kinks out? That's my problem. That's my beef, Taco.
I understand.
And you're not doing a good job.
I'm not happy about it either, but
were you aware of all the false arrests up until this stream?
I was aware, stuff like that happened.
Okay. You've learned nothing then, right?
Correct.
You've learned absolutely fucking nothing. Joe,
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah?
Learned nothing.
Okay. All right. You guys are pricks. Where's Asian? Asian had a work emergency. Asian, God, this is going so well with just me and Asian. All right. Does anybody want to promote their channel? Joe Black, do you want to promote your channel? I think I have a command for your channel.
No.
And if I don't, I really won't lose sleep over it. Just saying. Is it Joe B or Joe Black? What is it? Let me figure out which one it is, because I definitely think I put you. I definitely think I put you as a. I know Taco Josh. We have you in the.
Yeah.
In there.
I like what Rebecca said. It's like eyewitness reports. They're not always reliable.
Yeah. Screw this guy, son. Then subscribe to him, Taco Josh. There you go. There you go. All right. Well, Joe, can you? I don't have your command. I guess. Let me make sure what's going on with that. I mean, should I really put so much effort into it? Not really, but yeah, can't find it. I thought I had it. I did post your link in the chat once. So you know, I do want to show a cool command. It's exclamation point NJ, and it's a quote that NJ Diver said to me. I've had this since he said it, actually, and it's really cool to have forever there. NJ Diver, NJ Driver is what I used to call him. NJ Driver likes to stir that pot. That's what I said on September 23rd, 2020, when him and I were having a friendly debate. He actually made a thing where he would go on panels and incorrectly say my name on purpose. And he used to call me El Sanchez. Huh?
I said, why would he do that, Al?
It was more of an inside joke between me and him. Like, he would message me like, hey, I called you like Sanchez on Malloy, and I would call him Driver. So we kind of had like an inside joke making fun of each other for a while. That's why. It's cool.
You know, Rebecca has been dropping all types of like.
Yep, polygraph is
like
in this
good
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Hello, Grubel, Rebecca. Bless your heart. Vital Oregon. Thank everybody for being here. I may go live tonight. It depends on if I have a date or not. We'll see. With the
Just wondering, how many people have got the facial recognition to unlock their phone?
I think everybody has it on their phone. I see you, 420. Do you want your camera on 420?
And have they tried testing it with a photograph?
Oh, you got echo, man. Want your camera? Turn your stream off. Turn the stream off, first of all. Second of all, I'm wrapping up in just a few minutes, but turn your stream off. Are you better now?
Yeah, I'm better. It's me,
Oh,
Sancho.
it's Kush.
It's a testicle.
It's a testicle.
Yeah, I'm a testicle. I'm a jackass. I'm very sorry.
That does look like a testicle to me.
No, it's not a testicle. Who's that? It's Mike Wazowski, man. From the Monsters, Inc.
Okay.
He's stoned. Well, you want me to change it? I'll change it. Hold on.
No. I mean, listen, man. What the?
Hang on. El Sancho.
Oh, now it's a dick.
Now it's a dick with a.
El Sancho.
It's a
You
dog, dick.
Joe, go ahead.
You need to go and see a doctor. If your testicle looks like that.
My testicle looks great.
Is that better?
I don't know how this gets to be about my testicles.
Well, you just said it looks like
That
a
isn't
testicle.
what Jess said.
Testicles look like that. You need to go and see a doctor immediately.
Yeah, no shit.
Josh was the one who said it was a testicle.
All right, I changed it. Is that all right? I changed it now.
It's fine. I don't listen. As long as it's not a dick, I'm fine.
Oh, no, I wouldn't do that to you.
That's my rule. No dicks.
Yeah, I know that. I got porn bone, so.
You know what? It's funny. It's not funny, but I kind of was going over what to do to not get porn bombed, and like later that day, you still got porn bombed.
Oh, I still got porn bombed. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very. I don't know.
Yeah, and I know who it is. I knew who it was. So
I'm very protective of that. That's why, like, I kind of recognize your name from your new channel, so that's why I let you up. But
yeah.
I'm selective on people. That's why you see the same people all the time with me, because I'm afraid of a black dick.
Well, that's why I showed my face to you.
You can put that on a T-shirt if you want. I mean, I just like mannequin heads and a fucking black dick porn bomb. I don't like either one of them.
Yep. I hear you.
Good old cameras of mass porn bombs.
Yep.
Even like Vital Logan tried to porn bomb me once, and he failed. Yeah, I mean, like, the porn bombing is something that they do to troll. Other communities are getting into this community now. Like, if you've noticed, you're seeing some new people just want to go on every panel, no names, And they're bringing in people who like the fucking porn bomb.
Yep.
Simple.
You talking about some mushrooms?
He tried topless bombing me with his topless shirt, the vital organ. He tried to ab bomb me.
Oh,
he
tries to do a bucket boy with the when he shows his boob.
Have you caught any of the stream I just did about facial recognition, Kush?
I did not. I was on 10th Man's actually, and
Were you?
he told me you were live, so I came over here. Yeah, I was.
Yeah, I was going to go live last night, but I was invited to a pre-show meeting with 10th Man, helping out with Joe's show.
Yeah, I just watched Joe's.
And then I decided to say, you know what, I'm not going to go live in respect to 10th Man. And this cocksucker's live when I'm live right now, going live before me. Yeah. See? But if somebody asks me to help them out in a pre-show meeting, I'm showing up, donating my time, not going live out of respect. But 10th Man can go live whenever he wants and not care if I scheduled my show before him. I'm a little hurt by that. And I emailed that motherfucker so many links to help out with his stream last night. I was a contributor. It is what it is. Massholes live too? Fuck those cunts. Fuck them all.
Glenn Lambright's
Are they really?
live. Yeah, Masshole's live. Glenn Lambright's live. 10th Man just ended.
Why is Masshole live?
All my friends. I'm using air quotes here. Friends. I don't go live for a week. I go live. I schedule it 2 hours in advance. Everybody wants to go live the same time as me. Suck my nut.
Masshole is doing Art of the USA lies about police brutality, fact or fiction. Fact or fiction.
Fuck them all. Thank you.
I thought they did that last night.
So tell me about this facial recognition that they.
I just did an hour and 40 fucking minutes on it, my guy. You want me? Jesus, man.
No, just give me the cliff notes.
Just re-listen to the stream. Go ahead.
I'll give you cliff notes. It is improving. It's not very good at recognizing anyone apart from white men at the moment, but it is improving, and the police, being the police, basically try to use it as the only factor in arresting people because the computer says it's them, even though they were nowhere near the place at the time of the crime. That's the folks.
Well, that's it in a nutshell, huh?
40 minutes. Sancho?
You did a good job. How is everybody? You did a good job. But
you could have saved yourself an hour and 40 minutes, Sancho.
There's a lot of racial biasness with facial recognition of a lot of people of color getting wrongfully accused lately. And it's been coming up a lot more lately, yeah.
Where are you finding these articles so I can look up on
Just check out my stream. You'll see a lot of the stuff I just covered in Detroit, Ohio, New Jersey. There's a bunch of them that are climbing up more where people are being wrongfully accused and getting thrown in jail for 10 fucking days and spending a lot of money to get out.
Yeah.
All because of facial recognition. That's it. It's bullshit.
See, you would think they'd have because the casinos in Las Vegas, they have facial recognition. They could fucking recognize you from a fucking fly on the wall. Right. So I don't understand why they're having issues in those cities. They should go to these casinos and find out what they're doing right. Wouldn't that be the smartest thing to do?
It would be, but other countries like China are literally using facial recognition to buy vending machines and groceries, etc. Like you can go to a vending machine and just show your face and buy whatever you want. That the U.S. is using it as more of a security standpoint. Literally, what people don't really talk about is when Donald Trump wanted to build a wall, he also wanted to build a virtual wall with it to literally get everybody who's trying to cross the border their facial recognition to scan them. He wanted it to be a facial recognition wall. And my concern and fear is we as a government are becoming a lot more dependable on technology rather than, innocent until proven guilty.
Yep, you're right. You're absolutely right. And now you're seeing like all these DNA tests that are coming back and guys who have been in jail for 20, 25 years, 30 years. Now they get them DNA tests come back and it's not them, and they're getting freed and shit. And
yep.
And their lives are ruined. I mean, what do they get back in life? I mean, I would absolutely sue the shit out of the state. First of all,
They are. The ACLU's involved in Detroit. We played the story of the individual who just had a phone call from the police. Like, turn yourself in. He did nothing wrong.
Yep.
I'm trying to. Streamlabs is putting facts out about. Washington Times just did an article claiming that Antifa was identified via facial recognition. That's a false article. Mid-June 2020, IBM said it will no longer offer facial recognition technology and stop its research for development activities. Microsoft posted certain resistance from law enforcement. So there is definitely, FaceNet in June 2015. Google went one better with FaceNet on the widely used label faces in the wild LFW data. They said FaceNet achieved a new record accuracy of 99.63 using an artificial neural network and a new algorithm. The company from Mountain View has managed to link a face to its owner with almost perfect results. We're getting watched.
That's something that's probably kind of that's the software I was talking about. What they use in casinos. That's what they probably use.
Not only that, but like we were having the whole discussion earlier from an infancy standpoint of, well, if you don't get arrested, they won't have your photo. But these softwares are using your ID, your driver's license, and more importantly, they're using your social media. Everything you're putting on social media. Josh.
Yeah.
Are you yawning?
Yeah, a little bit.
That's like the third time you've yawned. Do you want to take a nappy? Is it time for a nappy?
It happens.
Joshy? You want to take a little nappy? Hey, do you want me to read you the story of the 3 kangaroos? I am getting better at putting people to sleep. Do you want me to read you a bedtime story?
Yes, please.
Sorry. I took some pain, some ibuprofen and everything for the kidney stone.
This guy's been wanting me to go live. I'm live spitting fucking knowledge and he's yawning during it.
Oh, you got a kidney stone to boot? Oh,
who cares about him?
I care about Josh. He's got a kidney stone. That's painful, dude.
He's hitting me in the kidney stone right now too.
It's like fucking, pissing one of those out. They say is like giving birth.
I always yawn, Sancho. It has nothing to do with like being bored or anything like that. It's just something that I do. It's an involuntary reflex.
Yeah. It's involuntary reflex. Exactly what it is.
I'm okay.
You're actually lacking oxygen, and that's why you yawned.
Yep. You're lacking a lot of things.
Jesus Christ,
all right, just saying. I'm just kidding. That's my payback fund.
I could never come back to that, but I'm holding back.
You already had a couple comebacks you jabbed in there. I heard what you said a few minutes ago, you fucker. All right, I'm gonna wrap.
And I'm holding back now.
All right. Should I tell everyone to subscribe to you 420 Cop Watch, or are you still hanging out with that racist piece of shit?
No, he's gone. He's been banned from my channel. He is absolutely gone. That's why I changed my channel name. I no longer use the Lemon Kush brand. That has been gone. It's out of the works. I want you everybody to subscribe to 420 Cop Watch. It's the same.
You still running your Discord? Because I left the Discord after that.
No, he ran my Discord and he took my Discord away, which he ran it. So, that's more power to him. He can take it away. I'll just figure out how to do it on my own. Or I have another individual who offered to help me with it. So,
because I've learned I'm no longer giving verbal blowjobs anymore. Because when I went on his panel, I promoted the stream from my community page, and I texted a whole bunch of my friends to hop on the panel.
Yep.
And he wouldn't let Joe Cool on, and he kicked him. And that's when Joe texted me about the KKK shit.
Yeah.
And that's when it's a problem.
No, he's gone. All gone.
Yep. And then he lied to me. More importantly, he lied to me and said, I don't know what you're talking about. When an hour later, I found proof that the guy was fucking lying to me and Joe.
Yeah.
And he was a rampant racist.
Yep.
And I didn't know that until after. Nobody knew that until after the stream.
I didn't know it either.
He lied.
Until all of a sudden he just went,
So
fucking ballistic.
My beef with you is when Joe confronted him the next day or two, you were very biased towards the piece of shit.
Well, you know, I was trying to stick up for him, thinking, all right, this kid's upset about something, but when, you know, he's upset and they argued before, and you know, and maybe he's upset now. You know, I want everybody to get along on my panels. That's what I want. But now, what I've seen and being the nice guy, no more. Either if you bring this racist shit to my channel, you're gone, you're banned. He's been banned. I have no ties with him anymore. Bucket Boy has no ties with him anymore. So yeah, we're done with him and his racist bullshit.
Yeah, because it was like, I even told Sarah, I'm like, I'm not going to go on panel with this guy. And then you kept asking me to go on panel, and I'm like, well, if he texts me, I'll tell him. But I don't want to associate myself with a racist. I don't. I have no tolerance.
I don't either.
I have no tolerance.
I don't either. So I tell anybody who's subscribed to True American News, go unsubscribe to him because he's a racist. And he calls him. He says he's a holy man.
Well, and then I was literally over Jess's house in the bathroom brushing my teeth, and then I heard him go after Kate, and I was just like, he's making death threats against Kate. Like, this is bad.
Yeah, I as soon as he did that, he was gone. I banned him. He was banned. He's no longer welcome.
Then he called me the F word.
He's done. He's gone. Once again, I'm going to apologize to everybody. If everybody hasn't heard my apology, you're going to hear it again on Sancho. I am very sorry. I do not like racism. I am not a racist. He is a racist through and through. I saw it firsthand, and I do once again apologize to everyone. That's why I made a name change to my channel. So that's it. It's over and done with. I apologize again, and I'm very sorry.
These are growing pains you're going to experience with.
But I'm apologizing again.
Yeah.
So I hope you take my.
Well, we haven't spoke since then, so we haven't spoke. And I did tell you when I was giving you all that advice, and he was just yawning like he was bored by it. I was a little disrespected by it, you know.
Yes,
and I knew you were listening and got frustrated because he just didn't want to be there.
Nope, he doesn't.
You know, and
he had his own agenda for my channel.
Right.
He definitely had his own agenda. And I was trying to go towards the cop watch community.
Right.
In the 1A community. He had a whole different avenue he wanted to go down, which I didn't want to go down.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, he's like, "Go let this person up." I'm not fucking letting him up. You know,
Yeah.
You're not telling me who I can and who I can't have on my panel.
Yeah.
I was getting pissed. But
you
I
have to take a stronghold. This is your house.
It is, yeah, and I did. And he's done. He's gone. He's gone. He's been banned.
Learn from me with these two boring fucks. Dead air is horrible.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to have dead air on any panels.
Oh, yeah. I understand.
And when these two show up, they bring a giant bag of dead air with them.
Yeah.
It's all Taco's fault.
Nothing like a wet noodle.
And I'm still having my show tonight at 9 o'clock on 9 o'clock every Friday. It's Weed 101. Yeah, Weed 101. It's the Cop Watch Lounge. Me and Bucket are coming up with the Cop. I had episode 1 yesterday, which didn't do too well. And me and Bucket are gonna do episode of the Cop Lounge of 1.5. So
good.
You guys are always
well. You guys went up against Masshole. That didn't really help.
Yeah, I saw that, and I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I ended it like a half hour, you know, because I saw my numbers go up, then they just went down. I'm like, and then I saw a Masshole, and I'm like, right. And update audits was still up. He was still going. So I'm like, all right. So,
well, you got to be different. I mean, this was different. My streams don't have the 100+ people because it's different from the drama.
Yeah.
You know, I lived that world. It started with me. It began with me, and it got old and boring for me. I'd rather sit back and watch it and not be a part of it because I was so much a part of it for so long that when you grow as a human and as a man, you realize the big picture.
Yeah.
And I'd rather talk about things that make my mind going, like stimulation wise. like this whole this whole facial recognition. This is such a problematic issue that needs to be discussed more. And I'd rather have 15 people in my chat to get this message out than do 150, which I've done before with the drama, the 150 people.
Oh, yeah.
I can do both, but I don't have the urge because there's so much negativity, there's so much drama, there's so many channels that are dedicated towards it. I push people that way. And they hopefully push people my way when they want to be educated and entertained. You can educate and entertain and not call someone a pedophile or not, call people bitches and cunts and nude pictures and all that shit.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a balance.
And I just wanted to play video games.
Patience is a virtue. Patience is a virtue because I know this stream, once it's ended, is going to get a lot more views because people are going to watch it at their leisure instead of have it live as an option when there's something else that's more drama related. Because this community is drama related. This is a drama related community. It's more of a drama related community than it is a constitutional based community. I can tell you that right now.
I'm trying to get away from that. I want to show cop watching videos. El Sancho, I want to show your auditing.
I'll strike you
when you did the police station.
I'll strike you.
You'll strike me.
I'll strike you.
Why?
I'm an auditor.
Okay. So I'm verbally asking you for permission on YouTube if I could use your video.
Joe, what do I do?
Well, there's not much on your videos apart from carpet and flooring, so I would say it would be fine.
Listen, if you show more than 5 tiles on that floor, I'll strike you.
Don't forget about unpolished shoes.
Yeah, I know, right?
Listen. Yeah, no, that's a joke with auditors. A lot of auditors. My channel was actually copyright strike 3 times in 24 hours and killed by an auditor. So 6 months later, I can joke about striking people when I'm never striking anybody.
An auditor struck you for using his content?
For using her content, CFW, yeah.
Are you serious?
We're fine now. We're buddies. But yeah, at one point, it was she was influenced by Josh and Brian to do it. And then they had a big funeral for me and a celebration, and people on this side were over there at that time celebrating my demise. And then I got to speak to the human being and got her to take the strikes away. She offered, not me. I didn't ask. I was just starting a new channel. I had like 200 subs. I didn't give a fuck about that channel. But it's the same channel. This is the same Sancho channel that got resurrected, and I had a funeral and a grave, and I came out of the grave, and I'm here.
Well, let me ask you this, El Sancho. When I go to do my first cop watch, will you come with me?
I don't know.
I'll come to you.
I don't know. Well, I was always told to not shit where you eat. So I always go like out of state, like I did Rhode Island.
Yeah, we'll go to Rhode Island or something. We'll meet up with Bucket and we'll do a cop watch.
I don't know.
Or just me and you. Just think about it.
I don't know. I don't listen. I might get into acting. I might get into Broadway. I might get back into auditing more. I might get into singing. I mean, there's a lot of things that I have on my plate as far as where Sancho's going directional wise.
Oh, okay.
Just don't get into gaming. That's my lane.
No.
Gaming? Yeah, I'd ask Joe Black, but he's across the pond. He'd do it.
I promised myself to not get into gaming or telling officers to give me oral sex. Those are my 2 rules.
Jesus Christ.
So I'm respecting Joe and I'm respecting Taco. And
what else is there?
There's a lot more fruits of labor to life besides those 2. They really are. They really are.
I can't think of any at the moment.
All right, Joe, can you do me a huge favor?
Hey, Cat.
Can you plug your channel in the chat, or can one of my mods plug his channel in the chat? Because I'm not playing that game with you anymore.
Oh.
No.
That was fun.
That was horrible.
It was fun.
That was not fun at all. That was 15 minutes I will never get back in my life.
It was fun.
So can somebody or I'm gonna have to go through like 300 fucking subscriptions unless somebody posts his link in the chat, which I'm gonna just give up. Taco Joss, can you plug your? It's not working. Fuck off. Can you plug your channel, Taco Josh?
Sure. I'm Taco Josh. I do gaming streams early in the morning. I have a great time doing them, and the more people in chat, the more fun we have. And please come, please subscribe, and help make it a merry time for all.
So exclamation point Joe B does work. Screw this guy, then subscribe to him. Exclamation point Kush goes to his old channel. I will fix that in a little bit. And exclamation point Taco goes to Taco Josh, and we're also asking you guys to help rub his hamstrings. He gets a little dehydrated at times, as you can tell by the yawning.
I'm almost up to 225 now.
Everybody subscribe. I've been sharing your community posts on my community page. If anybody wants me to promote your channel, message me on Discord. Join my Discord. Actually, let me plug my Discord, or Odin will knock on my window and stalk me if I don't do so. Here's my Discord, my new Discord. Everyone subscribe to my new Discord. Check us out. If you like seeing me get trolled by my girlfriend with mannequin heads, definitely join my Discord. Yeah. It's not good. Well, I went on Kush's panel. I think it was Kush's panel. It was like the other fuck not, but it doesn't matter. So let's just say Kush's panel. And I went on Kush's panel and I showed a video of me finding a mannequin head in the middle of the road, petrifying the fuck out of me. Because I have a little phobia with mannequin heads. And in the middle of the night, when you see a decapitated one just chilling in the middle of the road in the dark, it scares you. So I showed that on Kush's channel, but he privatized it because some shit happened after that, apparently. So people started asking about the mannequin heads. They were asking in Discord, hey, I saw the video on Kush's channel. So I actually was super excited to take Jess and her daughter on a little date. We went to the mall, going to the jewelry store, getting something resized. So all of a sudden, like, the second store we see is beauty supply. Okay, it's a beauty supply store. They're gonna sell, fake hair, weaves, wigs, shit like that, right? All of a sudden, the corner of my eye, I see like a dozen mannequin heads with hair and makeup, and I just like undo the hand holding. I'm like, I'll be over here. I booked it. And they were trying to get me in, and I'm like, nope. I was chit-chatting with the security guard. I was in other stores. I stayed the fuck away from that mannequin store. And then all of a sudden, I look on my Discord, and there's a giant landscape picture of fucking mannequin heads that Jess posted. Yeah. Don't like it.
Check your Discord.
I'd rather not.
No,
Why?
It's a good surprise.
I'd rather not. Why? What am I looking at here?
You'll see.
Is it my Discord? You posted in the old Discord.
No, I didn't.
Are you in the new Discord or are you in the old Discord?
I just joined your new Discord.
Is it called El Sancho After Show General?
I joined the one that your link gave me to.
Oh, that might be a problem. Hold on.
Let me look.
All right. Everybody join this Discord, not the one that I just posted.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Odin's gonna kill me. Odin, well, the other one I have no control over and I have nothing to do with anymore. What? True story.
What did you do to it?
I didn't do anything. The person who ran it got a little drunk and was mad at me for not answering the phone at 2 a.m. and he just messaged like all my friends and was like, do you want to be in charge of his Discord? And like nobody answered because it was 2 a.m. So he decided to give it to Officer Oak, who I haven't spoke to since November because he's too busy for me now.
Well, there you go.
There's my Discord. Sorry, guys, the old Discord. I think Liberty Bird's in my old Discord. Lemon Kush.
My little gift to you, Sancho.
Yep.
I'm changing my name, Sancho.
Thank you. Thank you guys for joining my new Discord. Sorry, Odin. I know I'm going to get my ass chewed out for that. I can already... Sure, you posted the wrong Discord. I know, I did. All right. Anybody else want to promote or anything, or I'm going to get the fuck out of here and go to the dispensary?
I'm good.
You're good?
Thanks for having me up, brother.
Thanks for coming on. 420 Cop Watch. Please
Yes,
subscribe.
sir.
Joe Blow.